And those are your guys from Seaside. Nice job, guys. Hey, this is Max on the Paul Lloyd Ward Busendorfer, and that's Paul on the skins, Harley on that bass, and of course, Mad Dog Bob Mathis blowing that horn week after week for almost 30 years now, right? We've been a long time. You guys are fabulous. Love that sound. A little spooky in the house. I can hear it. Hey, good morning, Seaside. Woo! What a joy it is to be with you today. It's a fabulous day. It's the day in which Spirit's expressing in our life. Is that good? Yeah, I think so. You know, it's the day in which we blew away the summer weather. I mean, it's been in the 90s the last few days. And this morning, it's almost a little fall in the air. If you use your imagination, you could actually experience it. And there's just such a joy in the house. There's a lot of love in the house today because we are on a journey. Did you get your passport when you came in? Yeah? Well, that's good because you get the stamp today, the Om stamp that represents India. So that'll be a lot of fun going there with you in a little while. And of course, your picture's on the page. But what I want to do is acknowledge a wonderful spiritual expression because what we believe at Seaside is spirit comes first always. And we have a wonderful practitioner. She has been leading our youth and family program for years and years and years and has lovingly found a wonderful new custodian in Kristen and is now just dedicated solely to that, bringing the prac consciousness to our community. And so we light this symbolic of just lighting that candle, that Christ presence, that Krishna presence, since we're in India today. And it is just being in alignment with that wonderful flow. And so Victoria sits back in our prayer center, and in our prayer center is where you get to fill out the prayer requests, if you like, and put it in the prayer request chest, and it's held in confidence among our spiritual practitioner team, and it gets prayed on every day by over 40 individuals. And so through the service, Victoria will be sitting there just holding that space, being a conduit for God to flow and the light to shine. So we light this symbolically, saying, you know what? Spirit's in the house, and we have a custodian for that. So Victoria. Hey, welcome to Seaside. If this is your first time, just know that this is a thriving spiritual community where we enjoy experiencing the Spirit together, and that wherever one may be on their spiritual path, you are welcome here. This is the place that we do our best to not hold judgment and try to be kind and love one another as we journey together. So it's we open our hearts and whether our times are joy or whether they're down, we do things together. Like I see Bill Seaman sitting out there. Whoa, yeah, he's not paying attention. But anyway, what we're doing is we're getting bikes for the children of North County who will not be experiencing the holidays, and he has a goal that he's put before us. We're participating with the Community Resource Center to bring in somewhere between 200 and 500 bikes for the children who otherwise aren't even going to be experiencing Christmas. So if you have an extra bike, or you know somebody who has an extra bike, or if you just want to buy a bike for a child who doesn't have a bike, just allow your heart to feel that for a moment. Remember your first bike? That's what Seaside's going to do with over 200 children in our area. So it's a magical place. It is a wonderful place. We have a guest packet for anybody who might be here for the first time to find out more about it. But what I want to do right now is invite you to stand and say hello to the person that's next to you.
It's relatively new, and it's a little bit of a call and response. You can sing with me, but when I say I choose joy, I want you to say I choose joy right back to me, all right? Let's sing, come on. When the walls come tumbling down, I choose joy. When the world stops spinning around, I choose joy. When my heart won't seem to move, when my music's lost its groove, when I have too much to prove, I choose joy. Yeah. When hate is all I see, I choose joy. When fear won't let me breathe, I choose joy. When betrayal and the lies
Nice. Woo. Thank you, Rebecca. Woo. Hey, you little giddy days. Is that because you just got in from Florida yesterday afternoon?
Yeah, that's it, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe it's because you're running off to Europe right after we're done in here.
I am going off to Europe this afternoon.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, what are you doing there?
I'm going to be doing my very first European tour with Sheila E. once again.
Oh,
So
man. Woo.
taking me to Germany, and I'm half German, so I'm super excited to go to the place where half of my family is from. So I'm really excited.
Wow.
Never been there.
Yeah, we're going to miss you. But, I really appreciate you. Everybody left this morning, and you stuck around for your Seaside family and going. So we just appreciate your commitment and love to us for sure.
I love my Seaside family.
Yeah, we love you. Hey, Ed, did I not hear it? Like it was your birthday yesterday?
Yesterday was my birthday.
Max! That's a little happy birthday there. I'm doing a cell phone. Check it in. That was good. Let's give her some happy birthday. Birthday to... I guess we can't sing without you, Lee. Yeah, forget it. We love you. Forget it, Max. We missed that. We mixed it. Just feel this is the gift of Seaside. Our spontaneity is different than most. So we love you. We'll miss you. Travel safe, and I'm glad you're here. All right. So I just want to tell you, you too could be like Max and get on your cell phone right now and check in and let the world know that it is happening here at Seaside. We've got incredible music, a message that's pretty good, and we are going to Italy. I mean, check this out. Not it. Oh, that was last week. We're coming from Italy and going to India. I mean, they all start with I. Come on now. Maybe Ireland next. Anyway, we had the Pope's face up there last week. And this year we have Amma. She's known as the Hugging Saint. And there's just an essence that emerges from her. You can watch it. You can be around her. People line up. She does her Dharmshaw. Thank you. To get people get hugs. America, the lines are short. They say there's only about 10,000 people that get it. But, in India, there's 100 to 200,000 people that line up to receive that. So we're looking at her books and her writings today. Ginny and Dennis get here at 6:30 in the morning to set this up for us. They left us the globe with India on it and stuff that her father brought back from the 50s and the 60s and a package that says, lovingly sent from the Divine Mother Amma with the joyous love to each and every perfect person at Seaside. So that's kind of cool. And so we're about to go exploring there. And when you're going to India, you definitely want to be in that spiritual vibe. So we have a wonderful practitioner really to cast that frequency of our exotic journey. And that is no other than the student from the School of Ministry and one of Seaside's own, Brian Atkins.
Good morning. Please join me in the stillness. So here's what I know. I know that there is one all-loving, all-caring, all-supportive, one source of all that is and all that will ever be. And I called it God. And I know that it's omniscient, it's all-knowing, it's omnipotent, it's all-powerful, and it's omnipresent, meaning it's equally present everywhere in the universe. Which is why I know it is right here, right this very moment, expressing itself through each and every one of us. We are told to simply be still and know that I am God. And I know that we are all one with this source of love and caring and compassion. Closer to us than our breath, that is where God is. And it's because of that that we are heir to all the wealth and all the riches of the universe. For we are God's essence. And I give thanks in advance in knowing that each of us here today receives exactly that which we are here for. As the words flow forth from Dr. Christian Sorensen's lips, each of us is touched. Each of us receives a shift, a whole new insight. And we, in turn, take that message out into the world and pass it on to others. And consciousness expands throughout the world. And so I simply turn this time over to the hands of God and know that it is perfect. And so it is. Now, we are going to have an opportunity to have a testimony from one of our wonderful practitioners about an experience or a manifestation that occurred in her life. I'd like to give a warm round of applause to Dee Seidel, who's going to tell us about an experience she had.
Good morning, Seaside family and friends. So I'm a bit of a writer and a storyteller, so I have to do the abbreviated version because otherwise the service would go really long. But I wanted to share with you an experience I had that really reminded me about prosperity and being mindful and really getting involved here in Seaside. So what happened is that last May I became unemployed as a result of working on a government contract. And after I had back surgery, that contract was awarded to a different company, so someone else ended up warming my seat. So for a while I pretended to be in retirement, but in reality it was time to get back to work and replace the unemployment income that I had lost because I was out of work for so long. So although I've been studying religious science for many years, it was now time to dive deep and really get into current classes here at Seaside that you can find in this lovely little catalog. So for me, I had to really keep my mind from running away with the what ifs. And over the years, I've taken many of these classes. So I also reached out to a couple of our licensed practitioners who will give you a confidential session. And so I spent an hour with each. And when the truth that I know and have learned through these classes became fuzzy because of my human side really eating at me, I knew that our licensed practitioners were there to help me see the true magnificent beings that we are. So to my point, I believe that after gaining an understanding through the classes and meeting with practitioners, I manifested a more joyful and healthful work experience closer to home. And then funny thing, a few weeks after starting that new job, my old company called me and they want me back because they went through 6 assistants in my absence. Oops. Well, you know, it became really difficult for me, and I have to wrap this up, but I was really torn because I was so comfortable for 9 years at that Navy support job, and I thought, well, I ruled the office, and I knew how to take care of those engineers, and I could go back to that and I'd earn a lot more money than I would be earning at this part-time job, but do I really want to go back? Or do I want to step into trusting Spirit? If it brought me these 2 jobs, then I have to trust that Spirit is going to support me in the part-time job that's going to be better for my health and well-being. So I had to really, raise my thinking, and God just demonstrated that for me. I mean, if I can manifest that, those of you that are looking to manifest, it's available to you as well. So in closing, when you're really ready for some changes in your life, I invite you to find a class that resonates with your heart. And you can also experience a quick prayer with a practitioner, such as today at the Wall of Prayer, because the practitioners, as the song says, can be the wind beneath your wings. Thank you.
Great job, Dee. Take it away, Max.
God is real. God is magnificent. God is light. God is love. I am real. I am magnificent. I am light. I am love. We are real. We are magnificent. We are light. We are love. Good morning, Seaside. How's everybody doing today? Good, me too. It is my honor to introduce our guest artists on Sunday mornings, and today we just love when this beautiful human being is here with us. She is just such a wonderful spirit. She's beautifully gifted, and we just love her music, and she's just been a staple here at Seaside for a long time, and we just love it when she's here. If you are moved by her music this morning, please see her after the service. She is trying out something new. It's called a download card. So if you do have you probably still brought CDs too. So CDs are still also available, but also download cards if you don't have a CD player in your car. So see her after the service. Without further ado, let's give a warm Seaside welcome to Miss Peggy Lebo.
Good morning. So when I first came here years ago, I remember walking around and saying, what is up with all these Kleenex boxes? And so it didn't take long for me to find out, because after hearing the message by the end of the first service, I was one of those people in the back having an ugly cry because I didn't know that there was a place that honored and celebrated all paths to God and that believed that everything is holy.
When I was a girly tween, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest, read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea, and Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad, the miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Water is not so strong, but I know that a magic trick is that everything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes for miracles, finding where there isn't one.
This is Peggy Lebo. Woo. Thank you, Peggy. What a perfect song. That everything is holy. You know, there's many paths to God, and today's message is about the prospering power of love, and came up with the love theme because Amma, as we talked about, is known as the Hugging Saint. Her whole vibe is about love, and so today we're over in India, and I can remember my first trip to India, and what I came to experience about India is there was like this love-hate experience going on. It was very tough, and yet there was a lot of beauty to it. My first trip there was in '92, and it was without Callie, but I took a group from Seaside. You know, bringing her at that point probably would have been too scandalous, and so I'm there. My first day, I've got the van taking our tour group where had in mind, you know, I guess American safe kind of place for lunch, and I was so wrong. I got sick there, and it started moving through me, and the cold sweat, and you know, just started everything going white. I don't know why they talk about them as blackouts, because everything was going white, and I was losing it, and it was rough, and I couldn't get back to where we were staying soon enough, and I crawled into bed, and I literally just wanted to die, and then it got worse from there, and I actually thought dying would be a better option than living. And, you know, it was just a rough start, but I remember in the middle of the night in this just delirious state, Callie coming to me and grabbing my face in her hands, and she's saying, you know, don't leave me. And, you know, back in the early 90s, you don't have cell phones. Say, what was that about? You know, it's like, you got to wait. And when I came back and we looked at the journal, she said, you know, I came to visit you that night. I remember you from my dreams and holding on to you and say, hold on. And so that's like the magic. It's rough. And the next day, you know, we got the van and we were heading down to a Hare Krishna ashram. And I was clear I wasn't going to have another thing to eat for the next month until I got back to America. But the Hare Krishnas are known for their food there. And we go in there, and they have us sitting down on the ground, and they have leaves for plates, and they put these dolls down on this leaf, and it was lentils, and it's like, and you got to eat with your hands. And it's like light. And all of a sudden, there was like a magic. There was a healing that was going on in my body. That food was a nourishment. It was a gift of God. It was blessed. And my body responded to like a perfect healing that was happening. And so that's what I'm talking about. You got this rough, and then you've got the beauty. We were heading down to the Taj Mahal. We were spending the night before we got to go there. And outside where we were these mounds of just trash. The city would dump their trash, and there were these mounds, and just little 5- and 6-year-old naked kids running around on these trash heaps, picking out. My heart was broken. And the next day we go to the Taj Mahal, this beautiful, elegant, really a mausoleum. The guy, you know, Prince built it for his wife who died in childbirth, and to see the dichotomy of the richness and the poverty, to see the spirituality and those that are struggling, and recognize that they're all aspects of God. Everything is holy. And in India, you begin to see the expression of God in many places. And Amma reminds us that if we can do it with love, the presence of God presents itself in a greater way. And so I want to share something that Amma wrote. Oh, great. I got glasses and they're broken today. Man, you would think I don't have any energy around glasses, right? But anyway, who needs stinking glasses anyway? As the body needs food to survive and grow, the soul needs love. Love instills a strength and a vitality that even mother's milk cannot provide. All of us live and long for this real kind of love. We're born and we die searching for love. She says, children, love each other and unite in pure love. And so the first point that I'd like us, you know, we've got our passport, so go ahead and take it out, is love is the face of God, is what Amma told us. And so that's the first point I really want to address. You can put it in your passport. Point number one, you know, love is the face of God. Love is God incarnate in this world. This individual, and what we're doing is we're visiting some of the great spiritual teachers of our time that are on our planet. We're going to their home, and she says, love is the face of God. Love is what's incarnated in this world. And where there's beauty, there is love. You got that? Where there is beauty, there is love, there is a life, there is a presence, there is something that is magical if we're available to that. But we got to allow ourselves to be in that presence. We got to allow ourselves to sing and dance with the joy of the presence. I saw a bumper sticker that said, "Dance first, think second." That is the natural order of things. You know, if we allow ourselves to be willing to just dance and to be with that presence and recognize that, beauty is the face of God and that it is ever available, by being in that presence, we're able to experience the fullness and the richness of grace. And that is what begins to reciprocate out in our life, as within, so without. And so as we begin to recognize that love is the face of God, then I start to know what I'm looking for. People go, "Where's God? Where's God? God, I'm searching the planet. I'm going on my treks. I'm going, love. If you know that you're looking for love, all of a sudden you have a knowingness, a mission, a purpose, a realization of what you're going for, and it reciprocates back out. Ernest Holmes, he's the founder of religious science, and he wrote something that said, "The mind is a magnet, and we attract that which we identify with the self. In order to get most out of life, we must learn consciously to change many of our habitual thoughts and those thought patterns. This isn't easy, for our old thought patterns cling to us with great tenacity. But being thought patterns, they can be reversed. If you're filled with fear, refill yourself with faith. For faith always overcomes fear. Love always triumphs over fear." Ernest writes in Science of Mind that love is the cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. When you're looking and available to love, what happens is you begin to see the face of God. And what we want to do is allow our awareness to be in that place where it can become available. But what we fill our awareness with is the challenges and the melodramas of our world. Anybody who does like these melodramas, that their story continues to unfold? This is what their awareness is filled with. If you want to experience love, you don't need to entertain the melodramas. What you want to do is bring that awareness to that deep seat of your being, and any of the disturbances that are going on, you just don't need to get involved with them. See, that's a pretty simple note you could write down in your passport. The disturbances in your life, you just don't need to get involved with them. It can be that simple, because when you sit in that state of awareness, you are being aware of what the universe is parading in front of you. But I'm choosing not to get involved here because this really doesn't look like love or the face of God. This prospering power of love is about following that which feels good within your heart and your soul, this which is nurturing, which is real, because, where the presence of love is, God is. Love is just that undeniable experience of the vibration. It is the delight. It is the grace. It is the sense of, it's well-being. Mahatma Gandhi said that, he's the one who said, where there is love, there is life. Without love, there's not really life. There's survival, there's making things happen, there's pushing the rock up the mountain. But where there is love, there is life. Elizabeth Browning said that to glitches, like the slider. He said, no, it's because I'm 70 years old. You got to have that belief about yourself. Yeah, because that's what comes off. Maya Angelou was telling, I think he was telling it was Oprah or somebody, but she said that I never trust a person who doesn't love themselves, and they say to me, I love you. There's an African saying, she says, that says, be careful of the naked person who offers you their shirt. Yeah. You just don't have it to give. And if you're not loving yourself, you just don't have it to give. And so, the fun and the wonderful color of Amma and India and the Hindu philosophy. The Hindu philosophy archaeologically finds its earliest recorded practices about 2,500 in the Indus River Valley civilization. That was one of the three major civilizations of that time, which was Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the Indus River Valley civilization. And so they had, the practices that were around there. And then about 1600, they were invaded by the Aryans, who brought the Sanskrit language. And so in the 1500 BCs in the Hindu world, it was known as the era of the Vedas, because the Vedas were written down in the Sanskrit language at that point. And it was the earliest recorded writings from the Hindus. And so the thing about the Hindu philosophy is that it is really a monotheistic religion, which means mono, one God. And when I think about Hindu, it's got all these various gods, but they're very clear that there is one God and only God that is in and through all things. Kind of sounds like religious science, doesn't it? And I think it's the 12th chapter, verse 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. It talks about the God that is and is not. It is the being, it is the non-being, it is the reality, it is the non-reality. It is that which cannot be worshipped. It is infinite. I mean, it's kind of this in which all incarnations come from. So what's interesting about Hinduism, it is not only the monotheistic, but it is polytheistic in the sense that it has poly, meaning many different gods. And so God expresses through the different entities, the different gods and goddesses. And I don't know, it's kind of like the saints, I guess, some of the Christian churches have. There's one God that expresses through many different ways. And the two of their gods that I wanted to share with you today is, the first one is Lakshmi. And she is there she is. She is the goddess of wealth and protection, definitely of the home. But she's not really goddess. She is known as Mata, not Devi. Mata means mom. Devi means goddess. She is Mata Lakshmi. She is the wife with Vishnu. She is the Shakti, the power, the energy, the vibrancy that pairs up with Lord Vishnu. She's always depicted in red with the gold. The red being the energy, the Shakti energy, the gold being the richness, the lotuses being the purity, the calm, the fertility, and the four arms, one being your dharma, your right path, the other being the kama, your desires, the goals in the Hindu philosophy, the other one being it's the artha, and the artha is your wealth, and the final one being the moksha, which is the liberation or the freedom from the karmic wheel of life and rebirth and life and rebirth. And she is the goddess that is overwatching the homes and the houses and with the wealth and the protection and just a beautiful abundant energy. And the other god that I wanted you to, she is Mata, but this other one is Ganesha. And this is Lord Ganesha, who is invoked before any project begins in Hinduism. Whether it's an architectural project, whether it is a new business, whether it is a new book, it is known as the wisdom, the writer, and the letters, and the knowledge, is known for wealth and abundance, is known as the eliminator of obstacles. Somebody's taken a test, they call on Ganesh, who is taken on the elephant persona. You've got a broken tusk epitomizing that, the wise is about there is no duality. So there's only one tusk. You got the elephant nose, which is the strength, the power, but yet is able to hold something in a gentle kind of way. So it is the strength of wisdom and the deliverer or discriminator of that wisdom in a gentle kind of way. You've got the four arms, one of them holding the sword, which is detaching one from the world, if you would, detaching yourself from the obstacles that is there. It's the obliteration of the obstacles. You've got the lotus and another one, symbolic of enlightenment. Third hand, you got all the sweets. I really like that part. It'd be chocolate if it was over here. But you've got the sweets, which are the rewards for living a good life. And the fourth one is the open palm that is blessing us with the abundance, with the wealth, with the creativity that is there to assist us in getting rid of the obstacles that are in our world. And as you can see, one foot is on the ground, the other foot is raised to the heavens, which says the wise are able to be the integration of heaven and earth, the celestial, the infinite, and this earthly realm in which we are on. And so the Hindu philosophy gives us these two fun gods, which are incarnations of the one God in a form in which we can begin to understand, whether as Mata Lakshmi or Lord Ganesh, they are about the abundance. And these same gods show up in the Jain philosophy as well as the Buddhist philosophy, because they carry an energy that says, you know what, you need not be bound by the obstacles that are here. You got to open your heart to spirit, which is love. It is love incarnating. Love is the face of God in this world. If you want to experience the abundance and prosperous living, love is the key to that prospering energy. And so Amma shares with us, again, she shares a lot, but I'm only giving you a little. And that is, when a flower is only a bud, its colorful petals cannot be seen, nor its fragrance inhaled. But when it opens, and the beautiful petals show, and it spreads its lovely fragrance and perfume, we have the same capacity within us, infinite capacity. But we're still in a closed state. We need to open like the flowers, and the spiritual understanding is what makes that possible. Yeah. And so the second point that I'd like us to take a look at is opening to love. You can write that in your passport, prosperity, and fill in all the brilliant notes and ideas I give you. Now, Gehills Braun said, life without love is like a tree without blossoms. See, it's opening to love in all situations. It's easy to love when we're in this room together. But Amma tells the story of walking and falling in a hole. And it's like you wouldn't get mad at your eyes for not seeing that hole and, poke your eyes out. That's ridiculous. Your hand, it gets hurt. You don't get mad at your hand, or she says degrade your hand. What you do is you bandage it. You take care of the wounds that are there because, you hit it or you did something to your hand. You care. You express kindness. That's what love does. That's how it expresses in this world, is through kindness. He says that your enemies or those that trespass against you, sounds like a spiritual word, but, can you treat them in the same kind of manner as you would your eyes, your hand, and understand and recognize that they need some help and support? That's kindness. I saw this interesting report on kindness. A lot of it, I'm only going to share a couple of the research projects, but Dr. Jamo Zaki, assistant professor of psychology at Stanford University, wrote in the Scientific American about kindness being contagious. Said, the positive effects of kindness are experienced in the brain of everyone who has witnessed the act. It improves the mood, making them significantly more likely to pay it forward. Here's a kindness experiment around energy from Dr. Christine Carter, UC Berkeley. Out of the Greater Good Science Center that she operates out there. About half the participants in one of the studies reported that they feel stronger and more energetic after helping others. Many also report feeling calmer and less depressed with increased feelings of self-worth. Here's from a Harvard study. They surveyed happiness in 136 countries, found that people who are altruistic in this case, meaning people who are generous financially, such as with charitable donations, were the happiest overall. Here's Christine Carter again in one of her studies about lifespan. People who volunteer tend to experience fewer aches and pains. Giving help to others protects overall health twice as much as aspirin protects against heart disease. People 55 and older who volunteer for 2 or more organizations have an impressive 44% lower likelihood of dying early. Here's one about serotonin. Like most medical antidepressants, this comes from Dr. Talia Steinberg, PhD psychology for Psychology Today, says kindness stimulates the production of serotonin, this feel-good chemical which heals wounds, calms you down, and makes you happy. Here's a study from the Psychological and Behavioral Science. Perpetually kind people have 23% less cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and age slower than the average population. And I can go on and on and on, but you know, what I want us to get is kindness is the expression of love that shows up in our world. Where is it, does it feel good to express kindness, to be in service? Sacred service is seva in the Hindu philosophy. Where can I give? Not where I hate giving, but where is it that feels good to be kind and to share this love, to be the face of God, to open myself so I can experience the prospering power of love and all these things. I didn't even share the other ones with you. There's a whole list that is documented. And so what we want to do is give because it feels right, not out of guilt. Guilt is punishing ourselves before God doesn't. Thought I'd let that one's worth writing down. Guilt is punishing ourselves before God doesn't. You know, and worry, it doesn't eliminate the sorrow of tomorrows, but it does zap the joy of today. And so what we want to do is begin to open ourselves a little bit more to be that avenue through which that spirit expresses. Amma uses a wonderful analogy that just brings home the Hindu philosophy, probably with Krishna and the flute. But she says, the melody, the beautiful sound that comes forth from the flute doesn't come from inside the flute or the flautist's hands. Some may say it comes from the heart of the composer. But, if you were to open up their heart, you're not going to find the melody and the music there. It comes from the celestial sounds. It comes from the infinite, a place where the ego cannot go, where the mind cannot get it. It is something only the heart knows. You've got to open. You've got to open. You've got to become available. Stop entertaining your melodramas and the disturbances in your life. Find that seat inside your being. The Hindu philosophy is turn within, become aware, watch the parade of things that the universe passes by you. Let it go like clouds in the sky. Be available for love in the face of God to show up. If God is infinite, it is everywhere. Be available. Open up. Be present wherever you are. I was reading a story of a Holocaust survivor who lost her husband in the camps. Her name is Miriam Elk. And years afterwards, she was sharing a story with her son about 2 objects that helped her survive in that camp. One was a little piece of bread that she would keep on her person throughout the course of the day. And she'd probably exchange it the next day, or she'd have the deli belly too, probably. But and the other was a broken piece of a comb. And that piece of bread was for her to share with anybody who needed it more than she did. And the comb was, no matter what happened or what day, every morning, every night, she would comb her hair just to honor her person. And I found it amazing how life can give us life-giving symbolisms from the simplest thing when we are open to love, to recognize that what was important to her was to have a little piece of bread so she could share something with someone who needed it more than her. What do we carry around through the course of the day to share with somebody that needs it more than I do? And what do we do in the course of the day that honors our person? And that's self-love, that compassion. Now, Amma, she writes about compassion. That compassion is the language the blind can see and the deaf can hear. It's lending a helping hand to a neglected soul. It's feeding the hungry. It is giving the sad and dejected a compassionate glance. This is the language of love. Helen Keller, one of our American, said that the best and most beautiful things in this world cannot be seen or heard, but felt with the heart. The most important things in this world can't be seen with our eyes or heard with the ears, but it's something that can be felt with the heart. This is compassion in action. It is opening to love. It is seeing love as the face of God. It's allowing life to become more exciting and wonderful than we ever thought was possible. Dr. Seuss, I got this one written down. I was thinking I had it, I got it down, but rather than not giving to you, I thought it's worth ending with. And it says that you know you're in love when you don't want to fall asleep, because reality is finally better than your dreams. When you see love of face God everywhere, life is bitter. God bless us in this wonderful expression of our heart, of our soul, and love. I love you. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring back to the stage two wonderful goddesses of song. We've got Peggy Lebo, just wonderful songstress, and Bethany Grace, wonderful players of the symphony in San Diego. And here she is on our very own stage.
Times your heart is opened by the beauty of the day, and the light shines all around you as you make your way. Every step a little closer to all you're meant to be. Then sometimes you stumble as you're trying to break free. It's so easy to forget with all the noise inside your head. You can wonder if you are enough. You are, just know you are. You are shining, you are golden. It's all the love you're holding in your heart.
That is Bethany Grace and Peggy Lebo. Woo, my goodness. The goddess energy is in the house, for sure. That was beautiful. Oh, thank you. And, man, I was just moved by that, sure. You know, I was just pulling out here. Did you find inside your passport a postcard from India to share with your friends today? Two of you. Okay. You may want to check. There is a postcard in there that you can send that has a picture of India that has today's affirmation. But on the bottom of the perforation, you'll find this part that says, just take a moment to share the good news or the testimony. We've got a box in the back, and I just grabbed some out of there this morning. And it says, yes, you can share this with Seaside. And I just wanted to share a couple of these with you, if I can read them. Just really quick, just a couple, because we got some fun ahead of us still this morning. But it says, I was having some trouble with the presence of a new coworker that I seriously considered quitting my job. And after I had to, okay, and I can read. So I went out on a leave. I came back to work after surgery recently to find out that she had been transferred to another department. Woo! You know, it's the way this works. You know, God, you take care of it. I got to leave. You do it. Here's one. My daughter, Ada, and I each used our separate airline miles to purchase a ticket from Portland to San Diego for $5.60, and then a ticket from San Diego to Portland for $5.60. And we can now all be together as a family during Christmas to celebrate our birthday and time together. Total cost, $11.20. I mean, there's names on here, but I'm not sharing them with you. But I went to my accountant this week anticipating that I would owe some money because of the changes in my retirement as well as the new tax changes. Instead, I ended up with having enough money refunded so I could pay off a credit card. Yahoo! This one says, I got 5 new students that signed up for my tutoring services. Here's one that says, I came through cancer treatment strong. I decided to fly. And the list goes on. Maybe I'll share more next week. But I'll tell you what, things are working here. Drop them in the box so we can share it and we can begin to build the foundation that these principles are working, not in the lives of people out there somewhere, but they're working in the lives of people at Seaside right now. Do that. So this is a time where we share our offering, we give our gift, and know that it's because of moments like this that we are able to have a spiritual home that is making a difference in people's lives, that we hear demonstrations like that we heard these wonderful demonstrations, that we hear amazing stories. It's moments like this that are able to sustain this consciousness that is known as Seaside, that has moved through time for over 30 years. And so as you give, it comes back. That's not why you do it. It's just good to be in the flow. It beats not being in the flow. If you've noticed, you know, it's more fun to be prosperous than it is to struggle. You know, it's just all right to live with an ease and a grace, a freedom, a joy, seeing the face of God in all things, living with a sense of love. It's okay. It is. And so on our journey to prosperous living, being in that flow and giving and supporting Spirit's expression in our life is an integral part of that. So as you give, you become the activity that the face of God is having. And you get to decide, as Ernest said, you know, you get to magnify consciousness. That's a law of attraction. You know, it comes back to you. So I invite you to listen to your heart and to give from that place. And with that, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward. And I want to say thank you to this wonderful crew. Thank you to those who mail in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you to those at home. We know that you're there. We're receiving your gifts. And also, you know, during this time, we have people at home who push the donate button. Just as we're giving here, our online community is hitting, boom, donate now. It is amazing how our outreach, and there is this online community that gets together. And so, you know, to be able to share your time, your talents, your love, your wealth is important. I see Eileen sitting here. This book is Eileen's. I have these 2 Amma books. Eileen, one of the experiencers of the wonderful hugs, and so as well as John. But I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities. For this is a moment in the busyness of a day or a service where we pause and remember, realign, get out of our head that is making excuses and to step into that flow and be that wonderful expression, one of those 108 gods of the wonderful Eastern philosophies. We get to be that place in which the one expresses through the many. And it is our decision as to which level in which it moves through our actions. So with joy, we share that which is blessed and graced our world. It is our joy to be able to support Spirit's good work. And what we find is that gift that has been given continues to bless and to multiply and grace everyone it comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to be in this wonderful flow of life. And so it is. Amen. And together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Your guys from Seaside. Nice job. And so as I stand before this bounty, I can just feel the love that comes pouring forth with it. For it's come from the heart and soul of each and every contributor, and I know that each one of these contributors is blessed, feeling the richness and that deep sense of peace and security that comes from knowing that source. For truly, we have chosen to be that vortex and for that wellspring to come into form and expression, for the love of God enriches and blesses the channels through which it moves. I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to be a contributor to supporting Spirit's work, for that love that has been given to Seaside. It is received in love. It is handled in good stewardship and is put forth back into the flow, bringing the blessings for which it was intended when it was first sent. So I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to be conscious in our giving. And so it is. Amen. All right. Hey, this is Edwin Robinson, board member, past president, and just basically lives here doing all sorts of things all the time. And my goodness, Peggy and Bethany, you two, just gorgeous, soulful sound that comes forth from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Rebecca, we're going to get you out of here so you can get on the plane pretty quick, but thank you for making special arrangements to be with us. And travel safe, and do the Facebook so everybody can follow you. Not that I don't, but, you know, I'm usually told what's happening. And Brian, thank you for your beautiful prayers. Matthew, for giving us sound today, Marv, for just creating things at the last minute, and the wonderful sound crew that is here that is live streaming this to the world. Because of you, whether you're behind the camera or in the editing booth, you are blessing more people than we'll ever know. John Beethan, whose podcast goes out to literally over 100 countries and has been listened to by over 40,000 people. That is the work that Seaside is doing, and it is significant. And I want you to know this. Friday night's a big night at Seaside. I'm not even going to ask you that if you got your Gene Houston ticket. I know that you do. But Marv, can we play this quick video one last time? This is our last opportunity, to pick this up.
A message the world needs now. Gene Houston, futurist, sage, global visionary, author, philosopher, advisor to world leaders, U.S. presidents, and the UN.
She was dynamic and heart-opening, inspiring.
What was amazing to me is the way she articulates her words. They're so expressive. They touch the depth of our souls, of our hearts, of our minds. My body was tingling all over at one point.
Touched my soul in a profound and wonderful way. I feel alive and awakened and very blessed to have had this opportunity, and grateful for teachers like Gene.
I felt like I was in the presence of true genius on the planet. I think we're very fortunate to have her.
I love her sense of humor, her tapestry of language, and also the applicable practices that she did with us tonight. I had a total breakthrough doing that with her, and I was like thinking about running home halfway through because I was so inspired that I want to write.
And it just awakened and enlivened something in me, and I feel like I'm still getting a major healing.
I was really captivated. She's obviously a spiritual master, and her ability to weave in humor and to touch our hearts, to touch our souls, really took us on a deep dive.
Gene Houston, Friday, November 1st, 7 o'clock at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. Register online at seasidecenter.org/Gene.
There you go. Sounds like the real deal going on. So pick up your ticket if you don't have it. It's a gift to yourself and any of your friends. It is powerful. She's 82. She's not going to be out and about much longer. If you can do Saturday, Sunday, it'll be fabulous. But I'm just telling you up front, it's something you don't want to miss. Hey guys, how'd it go this morning? Yeah, anybody want to share with me today? Whoa, we're going everyone. Hey, Chris, you're doing it. We'll go right down the line. Want to share your name with everyone? Want to tell them your name first? I am.
And what we did today is we made a little bracelet, and we gave it to a person. I usually wanted to keep mine.
Nice. Okay, share your name.
My name's Noah, and we made these bracelets and we shared them, and we were talking about. Okay, I don't really know.
Excellent. Hey, what's your name?
My name is Adam, and he made bracelets, and I don't know what he talked about.
All right. You want to say something? What's your name?
We talked about sharing and caring for other people.
Nice. So did we.
I was going to say the same thing. So I'm going to add on. We also talked about what we can do to do that, and one of mine was if I'm a trillionaire when I grow up, I'm going to help the homeless.
Nice. I like that. That was a good thing. Hey, let's share our affirmation with our children, and that is, we see you, we love you, and we support you in your magnificence. See, this is the good Seaside is doing, that we are creating. There were 7 children at the first service. It's just exciting what's happening in there. Kristen, thank you. And anybody wants to give an hour once a month, talk to Kristen. It is a great gift you will give yourself, and it will bless the children for sure. But I'll tell you, one of the good things we're doing is we're growing, and I know we have about 18 individuals that are joining Seaside today. So why don't you come on up on the stage and let's share your name with us. Come on. What's that? No, to the end. Come on, come on. Yes. Come on up. Oh, I'm gonna give you. Yeah, come up on stage. You guys can come up here on this high road, and I'm going to give you the microphone, and I would like you to just share your name with everybody. And then when we get to the end, I'll tell you what. Then I'll share a few words, and your board president will share a few words, and we'll start down here. And just pass the microphone. Your name and.
Stacy. Hi, I'm Jeanette. I'm Elaine.
I'm Stu.
I'm Irene.
I'm Lynn.
Hi, I'm Lori Freed.
And I am Kristen Seeger.
Woo! So these are the new members that are joining us today, and we're all going out to lunch afterwards. And what I want you to know is that to become part of a spiritual community is a huge decision. All of us members thus far have said yes at some time or another. And in the 21st century, which we're in, right? 21st century, or is it 22nd? 21st century. We do spiritual community differently. It is now that we're coming together with people of like minds. We do our, creation together, our fun together, and our life together. There's just a lot of new activities that happen within spiritual community that you have consciously chosen to be part of. And so one of the most satisfying things of the human experience is to decide that, I have found a tribe, a group that says, yeah, this is a matching energy, people that think like I do. And so to consciously align yourself with the spiritual principles and people that think in a like kind of way is a powerful decision. And so there is not, I want you to get or understand that there's not the church and its people. This community, and we don't even call it church anymore. We call it a community. We call it a spiritual center. This spiritual center is not the center and the people. It is the people. It is us. That is the Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. We are its hands, its heart, its head, and its feet. It's not just one guy carrying on a Sunday morning. It's all of us being spiritual leaders out there in the world and taking these spiritual ideas into the life and the areas that are relevant to us, inspiring those in our workplace, inspiring those in our homes, in our friends, in our family to be that light. And so within the body of this community moves the spirit of Seaside. You have deliberately chosen to make yourselves an integral part of this movement. And every individual is an individualization of the presence of God. And so religious science is the science of how we have deliberately chosen to cooperate, if you would, with this divine nature. And it is in this purpose of this high calling and this something we have said yes to that we begin to find the fruits coming forth. And it is not just some thoughts, but it is from the manifestation and the testimonials that we heard today that we take our authority, that those fruits from that blossoming tree are here. It's not just some abstract stories we read in a book that we got from Oprah, but rather there are stories we are hearing right here that these principles that we have consciously chosen to align ourselves with are working. And so at this time, I'm just talking, but at this time I want to officially welcome to you the president of your board of trustees who's taking you out to lunch, and me too, Tina Lazzazo Board.
Thank you, and good morning, and welcome to our Seaside family. You are uniting with each other and with the members of this center and all centers for spiritual living throughout the world in a warm, loving, divine fellowship of the Spirit. As you enter into this center in thought, word, purpose, plan, and action, you are important in a unique way to each other and to all of humanity. Through your adherence to and practice of the teaching of religious science, you become a vital factor in establishing and maintaining the kingdom of heaven here on earth. As you join in membership, the experience of each is enlarged and expanded into greater good. For as you enter into a life of service to mankind, to life itself, and to God, you knowingly become one with the very spirit of the divine presence. In this way, you increasingly become an influence for good in the lives of all whom you contact. The one obligation placed upon you is the one obligation you place on yourself. for the fulfillment of the purpose in your heart and the meaning of this membership for you. On behalf of our Board of Trustees and the other members of this center, I lovingly receive each one of you into membership into Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to our family.
You know how it goes, Seaside. Get on your feet.
Everybody singing that.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me and my brothers too. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Everyone can see we're together as we walk on by, and we fly just like birds of a feather. I will tell no lie. All of the people around us, they say, can they be that close? Just let me say for the record, yeah, we're giving love in a family dose. Yeah, we are family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got all my brothers and sisters with me. Oh yeah, we are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Oh yeah, we are family. Oh yeah, I got all my sisters and my brothers too. Yeah, we are family. Hey, get up, everybody, and sing, sing. Yeah, get up, our new family.
All right, we are growing, we are alive. Tell you what, I'll do a quick prayer today, but I want to invite all the practitioners to join me up here because today is Prayer Wall Sunday, and so our practitioners are going to be available to you for a personal prayer. Come on up and ask them when I'm done praying and we're done singing ourselves out. And so right now in this moment, I can feel that power and that presence, that life force. That is God. That is the face of God. Love that I feel in this room is the face of God touching each and every one of us. For our hearts continue to open more and more, and we begin to experience greater space to experience the fullness of life. And it is in the experience of this life that healing happens. Not because I'm telling God what to do, but because I have become that place where Spirit is known. No longer being involved with the disruptions or the melodramas, but bringing my awareness to that greater good that is. And I know right now that each and every one of us live and move and have our being in the isness of the divine itself. And with that, healing happens in the body as well as our world of affairs. Abundance pours forth because we have chosen to live in love, and love is the prospering energy. We are able to walk this world on this sense of prosperous living with an ease, a grace, a security, a peace, a joy, a sense of well-being in that which is ours to do. So grateful to know the healing is going on, and that every prayer request that has been brought forth to Seaside this week, whether mailed in, called in, online in, or put in our prayer chest, is now fulfilled. And for a beloved friend, minister at the Santa Rosa Center for Spiritual Living, Dr. Edward Filion, who reached out this morning and said, Christian, our place, the town has been closed. We have been told to evacuate. We have to close the doors of our center this morning because of the fires. And I know right now that all within that community are protected by the light of God, that the winds change and the presence of Spirit comes and the rains follow and Spirit dissipates those fires up north and all the places for all who have been touched, that they're feeling the hands of God, they're feeling the security and the sense, for truly Spirit is moving in those places. It was even given a prayer request this morning that Baja is burning. Whatever that means, I know right now that the presence of God is that soothing, calming match for neutralizing a natural phenomenon. So the blessings and graces upon our brothers and sisters, and know that all of our centers everywhere that bring this blessing and add to the consciousness, all spiritual communities, synagogues, temples, places of honoring the truth, truly their light shines and blesses our nation, blesses this globe. For something good is happening upon this planet, and I choose to see and to know as God knows. And so I let go with gratitude, not to anyone or any of those deities, but just living in a sense of grace and appreciation and thanksgiving for the God that is. that I am, that you are, that is unfolding here and now as our very life. I let go to this. I trust this because it is the truth. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. Seaside, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on, Seaside, sing it from your heart. Beautiful. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
And our affirmation for the week is, I am embraced by the prospering power of love. Together, I am embraced by the prospering power of love. Touch your heart and say it again. I am embraced by the prospering power of love. One more time, like it's your truth. I am embraced by the prospering power of love. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 Yes, Seaside.
Come on up, receive prayer. We're here for you. It feels good. Just share the request and receive a prayer.